Guys, I'm so pissed. I'm just trying to, like, maintain my composure here because these people are pissing me off. So, Taemin and the agency, BPM, just announced the Asia dates for his world tour. Basically, they just put a poster which has the Asia cities and dates, and then at the bottom it just says, in all caps, it says, and more. So, people are either choosing to not read that part, or they are assuming that and more just means an extra date in Japan or something. It's like, because this has happened with other K-pop groups or other K-pop companies where they say and more, or they say it's a world tour and they just do Asia or whatever, that this has happened with other agencies and other companies, and people are taking this immediately and saying that this is all we're getting. It's not a real world tour, and he's not coming to any other countries. And I'm just like, guys, this is just legitimately pissing me off because people do not understand what's happening here. And if you know anything about this, if you know anything about Taemin, you would know he has been begging and asking for a world tour for years, literal years, and he was so fed up with SM for not giving him a world tour and not giving him more dates. And when he did Metamorph, he was literally upset that he only got a 3-day concert and that he got sent to Japan, but he was literally so upset about it. And all of this, compounded with the lack of promotions for Guilty and the other things that he had been doing, caused him to leave SM. He was literally so upset about this that he left SM and he joined BPM. And BPM is a very new company that doesn't have a lot of touring experience. But they just sent VVs to the US. VVs, who is a much less popular group than Taemin in the US and in Korea, but like VVs is clearly less popular in the US. So sending VVs to the US, and the fact that they were playing very small venues, but they sold out the tickets. In the US, they clearly know that there is a market there for K-pop because they just sent a group there. And they clearly know that market is ripe and that it exists. Also, the people who are like not trusting Taemin on this, he obviously is going to have more power over his stuff. I'm even hearing his new album is going to be self-composed. So he's clearly going to have more power over his career under BPM than he is under SM. One, because it's a smaller agency, and he's probably the biggest name they have signed right now. So if they don't give him exactly what he wants, that would be a terrible business move on BPM's part. Second of all, he probably negotiated the fuck out of his contract when he signed it. He would not have signed a contract which would have said, we're only going to send you to the rest of Asia. We're not going to actually give you a world tour. And if by not giving him other tour dates, I'm sure he probably has a clause in his new contract which says that he has to tour a certain amount, or that he has to be allowed to tour in North America, Europe, other places. Because he has literally begged for this for ages. Fans have been asking him on Alive for ages to come to Europe and come to other places, and he has said that he wanted to come everywhere. He's literally said this. And even the Monopoly board at the fan meet, which teased certain cities, it was kind of a joke because Alaska's on there. Like, no shit, that's not going to happen. And it only had 2 U.S. cities listed. It only had LA and Chicago. But, like, still, even that, and it had Paris on it, even that had, like, U.S. and European cities. And that's not the full list of cities. But, like, the fact that people think that he's not going to come to the U.S. and Europe at the bare minimum, we can hope for Australia, we can hope for Latin America, there's other places that we can hope for, but at the bare minimum, US and Europe, Western Europe, at the bare minimum, the fact that people are just assuming that this is it, these are the only dates, the end more doesn't mean anything, it's just gonna be an extra date in Japan, screw it, we're just hanging up our hats now, he's never coming. Guys, he has literally been asking for this for years. He signed a new contract with a new agency. He probably negotiated the fuck out of his own contract. He's promised us stuff for years. And BPM has just sent another group to the US so they know what the US market is like, because they just sent a group here who is less popular than Taemin. If they think it's worth their money as a small agency to send a group that isn't even that popular to the US, Why on earth would they not send Taemin to the US? That is insane. And the reason you can argue SM didn't do it is because, one, SM didn't need to do it because they had tons of money. Two, SM had bigger acts that they could send to the US, like NCT and aespa. And three, SM blatantly just disrespected him and his artistry. But SM is also terrible at promoting the majority of their groups, including groups like Red Velvet, which are very popular. They've not promoted Red Velvet well, and it's just true. Like, SM has been terrible about promoting a lot of their groups. So the people who are saying they're gonna say only Asia and like a few other random places, it's like that is what SM has done in the past when they announce world tours and all this. SM has done shit like this. SM has pulled this shit. But we have no reason to believe that BPM is going to do this. Because, one, BPM has done nothing but listen to fans so far. So even if they were planning on not having other legs of the tour, I think the fan outcry would be enough to get them to notice. Because, like, they gave extra dates for the Taemin fan meeting. So they clearly know what they're doing when it comes to this. But second of all, Taemin is, at this point, clearly the biggest act signed to them. Taemin is more popular than Vivi's, I'm sorry, and Bad Villain is not there yet. So, like, Taemin is clearly the biggest act signed to this label. If you just completely neglect your biggest act and throw that away, then they're gonna lose out on all that revenue because Taemin will leave if he's not satisfied. Whenever his contract is up, I don't know, he probably signed like a 2 or 3 year contract or something. Whenever his contract is up, he will leave. And also, they know how profitable this would be. And again, I'm sure he negotiated the fuck out of his contract. And you guys are just choosing to believe that we are not getting any more tour dates. The dates on that poster are the only ones. I also want to point out that these dates are for this fall. They're for August through November, through the end of November. The last date is Manila, and it's on November 27th, as of right now. So people are taking this, and because it said that the world tour was in 2024, this means this is the only tour dates. It's like, guys, so many tours go over multiple years. Like, they'll say a tour is in 2024. It means it starts in 2024. It doesn't mean that the tour is contained to 2024. Anyone who expected the whole tour to take place in 2024 is unrealistic. And I'm seeing that these have like 6 to 8 days between dates, sometimes more. These dates that are on this Taemin tour for the Asia dates, they take place apart from each other. So there is time for him to travel to the location and to adequately rest, in order to perform. Whereas with Luna, for example, when Luna had their world tour and they came to the US and then Europe, I think they were supposed to come to Europe. I'm not even sure if the Europe ended up happening because they only had 2 days between dates in the US and they were just exhausted. They were jet lagged. They had so many injuries and so many issues, and that's Blockberry neglecting them. So I think the fact that BPM is scheduling these dates spread out is a good thing, and it means that Taemin is resting for the tour. It means that he's resting for these dates. And this is going through the end of November. The last Asia date we have is November. And I've been thinking straight off, unless they decided to start in the US or Europe, which they're not, they're starting in Asia, which makes sense, that the US and Europe dates are going to be in 2025. And I've been thinking this since the announcement happened. Also, it said August, and people are like, oh, so does this mean more things will be announced in August, or does this mean that the tour starts in August? The tour is starting in August, because it's starting in Korea in August. Actually, it's starting on the last day of July, I think, or the last day of August. I can't remember. 8 is August. So yeah, it's starting at the end of August. It's starting in Korea in August. So, the tour is starting in August. And he's going to be touring September, October, and November throughout Asia and taking adequate breaks for between those tour dates. Now, the other thing is, I would guess, just based on population and based on, the way that, Vivi's was given U.S. tour dates. I mean, the only reason that U.S. tour dates wouldn't happen is if the U.S. is deemed too dangerous, if something happens with the election that causes mass uproar or a civil war or something, obviously, in that case. Like, he's not gonna go play Israel just because, like, it's too dangerous. So, like, you know, I'm just using that as an example. He's probably not going to come to Russia, even though they have lots of Russian fans. I don't think BPM wants to risk that. But the idea of them not coming to the US or like Canada, like Montreal, or Toronto, the idea that he wouldn't be coming to either to any of those places. They also know he's profitable because they've been sending him to KCON, so they know he's profitable in the US. Saying that he won't come to the US is completely ridiculous. So I can make the assumption that the US would be first, that like North America would come before Europe. Now, I could be wrong about that. They could do Europe first. Either way, Europe is considerably, I think, less religious than the US, but it depends on where you are. There's a lot of religious places in Europe. So either way, nobody wants to tour in the US during the holidays. Nobody wants to tour in the US in December. So the fact that we don't have those dates leads to me to believe that he will be taking December off, and then the rest of the US tour is going to take place in 2025. Don't know if it's going to be January, February, March, whenever. I don't know how long he's going to take off. US and or Europe, North America and Europe will be taking place in early 2025, like in the first quarter of 2025. That is I'm thinking maybe North America will be like for spring and then Europe will be summer or something like that. Again, just speculation, but based on what I'm seeing here, nobody wants to tour in the US during the holidays because there is so much holiday travel, there's so much commercialism, so much money that is being made off holiday stuff. The other thing is that the holiday, I believe it's a lot more expensive to travel. I don't know about international travel, but I'm sure just all travel during the holidays goes up. So if BPM is touring an artist, they're probably not going to want to send an artist somewhere internationally in December because of the holiday prices, the like prices of plane tickets and such, and just booking travel. So I don't see any reason why they would immediately announce it for December. I think January at the earliest for the rest of the world. I think that's how that's going to work. And I think, giving him the month off is good. It's good for his health. It's good for him to be well rested. It's good for him to get to spend the holidays. He's Christian. He's Catholic, guys. He's literally Christian. So I'm sure he celebrates Christmas. Like, I know plenty of non-religious people also celebrate Christmas. It's not a cut and dry thing, but like giving him time to, spend the holidays with his family, do whatever he needs to do, and giving him time to rest after that Asia leg is super, super important. And, I know that Metamorph was in December, but like, first of all, that was only 3 nights. That was Korea, that was 3 nights. Second of all, it was either 3 nights or 2 nights. It might have only been 2 nights. But with Metamorph, it's like, it was in December, but that was only like a couple days. And also SM is shit at scheduling things, and we know this. And also it's in Korea, so there's no travel issues. There's no travel concerns, and he could have finished Metamorph, and then been back in time to have Christmas with his family or whoever. Again, I think this idea that, Metamorph was in December, so it's like, no, they're not gonna do an international tour in December. That's not happening. That's ridiculous. Metamorph was in December, yes, but I kind of highly doubt that they're going to announce anything else in December. The other thing people are mad about, they're like, I saw some people in the Instagram comments saying, like, it was really just one person who was saying, just go ahead and announce the rest of the dates now, and, like, so that people aren't waiting or whatever. It's like, BPM is a pretty small agency and a pretty new agency, and I don't know all the logistics that go into this stuff, but if they're setting up venues for, like, North America and especially Europe, like, whatever they do, people are going to be mad. So if they released the North American tickets now, or not the tickets, but the announcement for it, if they release that now, and then released Europe didn't release Europe yet because of whatever. People are gonna be really pissed. No matter what they do, people are gonna be pissed. I don't remember the details of it, but like I don't remember the Born Pink tour being announced all at once. Maybe it was. I don't remember. But I know they also did encore dates. Like Born Pink tour did encore dates for like a whole year. So like I can't see any reason. Like yeah, he's probably gonna do some like Asia encore dates next year. But like I don't see any reason why we're not getting it like in the West. Like I think it's ridiculous to assume, because again, of all the reasons I stated, that Taemin has been asking for this for years. He just signed a new contract of his new agency. He's the most popular artist in the agency, and them not giving him what he wants would be stupid. They can make a ton of money off of his tour. They've sent him to KCON, and they know how profitable he is in the US, and that BPM just sent VVs to the US, so they know what the US market is like, and they also know he's highly popular in Europe. So again, the idea that he's not going to be coming to at least the US and Europe as a bare minimum is a little bit ridiculous. Okay, so now that I've said all of this, it's going to be next year. It's going to be 2025. I don't think he's going to do his concert. I don't think he's going to come to the US in December. I think they're going to give him a break, give him time to rest after the first leg of the tour. That's normal. Other artists have done that. I've seen plenty of artists who will announce like I've seen like Western artists who will do like a North American leg of their tour, and then they'll take a rest, and then they'll announce European dates or Latin American dates or whatever. I've seen plenty of artists do this. People are saying that every other artist announces all the dates at once. Like I don't think that's true. I think I've seen other artists who don't announce all the dates at once. I can't think of any examples off the top of my head. I'd have to go looking, but honestly, I can't really think of this being a thing. So, okay. So, again, not announcing all the dates at once makes sense, because it'll be like, if you name a tour, come up with Born Pink, for example, you say Born Pink in Europe or Born Pink in wherever. It's like, it's not exclusive. They don't have to announce all the dates at once. But the logistical aspect of it is they may not have venues and dates secured for every other location just yet. That doesn't mean that they're not going to come to those other locations, but it just means that they may not have the venue secured yet for, say, Europe. Say they don't have a venue or an exact date secured for Paris. Say that they're let's just say we do some North American dates in January through March, and then let's just say he takes April off. I'm just making this up. Just say he takes April off, and then May he decides to go to Paris, okay? I'm just making this up, but let's just say that they are discussing, like, BPM is talking to different venues in Paris or doing research on, like, what venue is best in Paris, but they don't have a venue secured yet, or they don't know the exact dates, because they won't know the exact dates until they talk with the venue and discuss the exact dates that are available. So, it would be silly of them to announce all of the dates right now, because they may not even have all of the dates secured yet. So I think the idea that we're waiting for all of the dates to be secure, the idea that they should just announce all the dates right now, we don't know if they even have all the dates secured. Like, they probably know, like, where, they probably have an idea of, like, where they want to tour. Like, BPM probably has an idea of, we're going to go to these cities, but they don't have the exact dates secured, because they don't have the venues secured yet. So the idea of, they might even still be researching venues, because it takes a long time to research, like, to try to gauge, like, what is Taemin's popularity in X city, and what venues are available, how much do the venues cost, how much does it cost the company, is it profitable for the company, how big of a venue should they be looking, should they do 1 day or 2 days, you know what I mean? It's a lot, there's a lot that goes into planning a tour. So this idea that, just because he's not announcing his Paris dates right now means he's not coming to Paris is really stupid. Like, I'm just using Paris as an example of a place that he would probably go. Same thing with New York. Like, I'm waiting for the New York date, but that doesn't mean that he's not coming to New York just because they haven't announced a New York date yet. They could still be looking at venues in New York. Who the hell knows? Like, there's so many things. They have to gauge his popularity. They also might want to wait and see how well the Asia tour does. Obviously, Korea and Japan are going to sell out, but they might want to wait and see how well does he do in Manila? How well does he do in wherever, Hong Kong, wherever else? I forget where all he's going. But they might want to genuinely see how profitable the tour is. And that also gives them an idea of, like, did we book venues that are too big? Did we book venues that are too small? They might want to, like, see, like, how fast the tickets are selling. Because you don't want to be in a G-Idol situation where they booked too big of a venue on a weekday and now no one's going. You know, they don't want to come to the U.S. and be like, yeah, let's book MetLife, guys. Like, they don't want to do that. They're not stupid. They want to see, you know, if the tickets for, like, all the shows in Asia, if they sell out super, super fast and they're like, okay, we realized that these venues are too small. We may have to look at even bigger venues overseas. Or if they realize that the venues are too big and they're not selling, then they can say, okay, let's scale this back. Let's do smaller venues. They probably want to give a trial period for the venues. Like, they want to have this Asia leg and see how well it sells and all that, so they can have a better idea of what to expect when they go overseas. So, yeah, it's like guys, please stop thinking that he's not going to tour outside of Asia just because it says just because the only dates we have confirmed are Asian dates. That doesn't mean anything. So please stop. Just because SM has screwed us in the past or other K-pop companies have fucked us up in the past doesn't mean shit, guys. Like, guys, just have faith in Taemin, first of all. If he doesn't get what he wants, he will not stay with BPM, and BPM would be losing out. So, like, he wants to go to other places. We know this. He said he does. So, guys, just have faith, please, for the love of God. I'm so sick and tired of people just assuming the worst when it comes to this. I get it. Like, we're all SM stans. We're all traumatized. I get it. But, like, guys, just relax, please. Okay. Whew. All right. That's